Here we're going to use the graph of f of x equals 3 to the x in order to graph g of x equals 3 to the x minus 1 power. So I've started with the graph of f of x equals 3 to the x that I generated by making a table of values that you can see over here on the left. I plotted those points and got the graph over here on the right. So now the question becomes, how is the graph of g of x different from that graph of f of x? And the transformation that's being indicated by that x minus 1 there in the exponent would be a shift to the right 1. So I need to take all the points that I plotted in f of x and just simply move them over to the right 1. One way that we can do that is if we go to our table. I could go ahead and plug some numbers in for x and get their corresponding y values by plugging them straight into that g of x function. And so we can do this whether or not we remembered about transformations. But the transformations do help in that they give us potentially some new values to plug in for x. Since I'm shifting everything to the right 1, to get these same y coordinates I would need to change my x values by moving them each to the right 1. So if I move negative 2 to the right 1, that would be negative 1. Negative 1 to the right 1 would be at 0, and so on. And so these values would be a little bit more appropriate to plug into this function. So now if I plug a negative 1 in for x, my exponent would be negative 2, negative 1 minus 1. So I have 3 to the negative 2 power, which is 1/9. If I plug a 0 in for x, I have 3 to the 0 minus 1, that's negative 1. 3 to the negative 1 is 1/3. Plug a 1 in for x, we get 3 to the 0 power. Plug a 2 in for x, we get 3 to the first power. And we plug a 3 in there, we get 3 squared. So again, plotting these points, you will just notice that it's each of the points from that original function moved to the right 1. So our 1/9 is now here at negative 1. Our 1/3 is here at 0. And our 1 got moved over to x equals 1, and so on. Just move each of those points to the right 1 and go ahead and fill in the rest of the graph.